Greetings on a wet, cold Friday afternoon. This week's ramblings are being done in a slightly different atmosphere to what it was like on Wednesday, when it was a lovely, fine day with spring sunshine, and today it's remarkably different. I suppose that's the story of life, isn't it? This past week has been an interesting week. I wondered at the start how it would go, but on Monday I managed to have a very productive writing day, probably the best writing day all year. Um, I'm not bragging, but in the message series I managed to get quite a lot of work done on the next couple of messages in this series. I haven't yet started on Advent and this year of Luke, but I've managed to get quite a bit done on the end of this year, the final series, What a Difference. I also managed to write and record 2 God spots for Journey Catholic Radio, and I did well this morning as I wrote one and recorded 2 others. So I've done a reasonable amount of writing this week, and that's quite a pleasant situation. I do have a bit of a challenge though. I'm striving to find a way to put together a process so that we can look at the Synod on Synodality, the material that's been presented for us to discuss. We talked about it at our pastoral leadership team on Wednesday morning, and we were hoping to be able to spread it out over November, December and January, but the requirements of the writing period suggest that we have to have some form of material presented by the 12th of December, which doesn't give us a lot of time, especially since the month of November has quite a number of serious events already happening in our parish, which will make it a little bit difficult. So we'll be looking to find some way to at least give people the opportunity, and that will probably mean working with a small group to prepare a simplified version of the conversation points, and to find some opportunities for people to make their contribution to that. This weekend we've got a meeting tonight. Robert Falzon, one of the founders of the Men Alive movement, has been in Tasmania for a couple of days, and he's coming to the parish tonight on a basically ad hoc, last minute kind of event organised by a couple of parishioners who know him well, and so there'll be a gathering this evening. Then tomorrow there's a funeral in the morning. I've got lunch with the priests, not cooking it myself. I'm actually enjoying the hospitality of the Salesian fathers at Glenorchy. And then on Sunday I was due to gather with my family for a kind of a family get-together, but I have to admit that I made an error in my diary keeping, and I missed a significant event here in the parish, so I'll be zooming into the family gathering and not able to attend in person. But that's the life of somebody who tries to get things right but doesn't always manage it, so I suspect I'm fairly much like every other person who's ever been born. So in the midst of rain and in the midst of what is a dreary day, I'm alive and well, and I give thanks for that. And so I hope that in the midst of what you're doing at the moment and where you are, you too can find a moment of joy and peace, and that your celebration will be an opportunity to know and love the God who loves you. Have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you next time when you join me on Friday Ramblings.